You're tuned in to the Ross Tucker Football Podcast, guiding your gridiron journey, none other than your host, former NFL lineman, Ross Tucker.
Oh, yeah, it is. But it's not just any Ross Tucker Football Podcast. It is a Wisdom Wednesday, presented, of course, by DraftKings. Love those dudes. Please use the code Ross over at DraftKings Sportsbook, all kinds of goodies if you do so. The wisdom today comes from my guy, Raheem Mostert, one of the best combo speed and power running backs we have ever seen in the NFL. Yes, you heard me. Check the GPS timings. Check how many angry scepters he has. Raheem Mostert is a bad man. Looking forward to talking with him momentarily. Just want to make sure you guys know we'll have a Fantasy Feast podcast with Joe Dolan today, talking about the running backs and tight ends that got drafted and what that means for fantasy football this year. Plus, we're having a best ball league, 3 best ball leagues, in fact, over at DraftKings. Make sure you listen or watch youtube.com/Ross Tucker NFL, today's Fantasy Feast podcast, to find out how to get a free entry into a best ball draft with me and Joe. So it'll be 10 of you guys, me and Joe Dolan, in a best ball draft on DraftKings. Absolutely cannot wait. Most of you know, but hey, maybe we got some new Dolphins fans listening or watching this one. I'm Ross Tucker, former NFL offensive lineman. Might have started more games against the Dolphins, by the way, than any other team. I think I started 3 games against the Miami Dolphins, actually. Miami Dolphins. So anyway, glad to have you guys aboard. If you missed yesterday's Even Money podcast, oh boy, you better go back and listen or watch. Warren Sharp talking about the NFL schedule and his belief of the inequities was incredible with Steve Fezzik on the Even Money podcast. Couldn't possibly highly recommend it enough. Sean King, the former Bucks quarterback, excellent on Monday's Ross Tucker Football Podcast. Tomorrow, the civilian GOAT, Greg Cosell from NFL Films, will be on the show here on the Ross Tucker Football Podcast. Remember, if you rate and review the show this week on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, any of the shows, right? Fantasy Feast, College Draft, Even Money, Ross Tucker Football Podcast, I will send you a signed autograph in the mail. It's that simple. Just rate and review and then email me, ross@rosstucker.com. We'll have a winner. Somebody takes advantage of one of our sponsors, like DraftKings, like Good Ranchers. Memorial Day weekend is coming up. And always love the YouTube shout out, youtube.com/Ross Tucker NFL. It's Big Show time.
The Big Show.
Man, I've been waiting to get this guy on the show for a while. Those of you that have been listening to me or watching me on YouTube, you know he is one of my favorite players in the NFL that I don't think gets enough love. I know he led the league in touchdowns. Everybody knows who he is. I get that, but still not getting enough love in my mind. I'm talking about the Miami Dolphins starting running back, Raheem Mostert, who I've known for a few years now. Got a chance to talk to him a bunch at the NFL's broadcasting workshop. Raheem, thanks for coming on the show, man.
Hey, man, I appreciate you, Ross, man. It's a pleasure, honor, and I'm just as excited as you are, man, to be on the show.
I love it. So, hey, I'll ask you that just to start. What was your biggest takeaway from that week where you're like, hey, this is awesome, I want to do it, this is a lot harder than I thought it was? You're like, this is not for me.
No, honestly, there's a lot of different variables, in regards to the broadcasting world. But all in all, I think it suits me. I think that I'll be all right. But you have to put in the grind just like anything else, and try to master your craft as best as possible and bring something unique to the table. That's something I've really learned when I was out there, and hearing from you guys, man. Everyone that has already been in the game, I think is pretty relevant that, one thing that is always consistent is that you should always stand out and be yourself. That's the biggest thing. And that's one of the biggest takeaways I learned from there.
No question, man. That's the thing I'm most interested in about Brady, is to see what he's like. Cause your personality is what it is, and if you try to be somebody else, that'll never work. You just kind of got to hope that people like what you are. I think
Right.
most people like me, but there's definitely some that don't. Like, there's nothing I can do about it.
Yeah.
Like,
Hey, look, everybody likes you, man. You're a great guy, man. And when we first met, I mean, you hit it. We hit it right off the bat, and we connected. And man, I could truly say that you're a great friend of mine. And I'm pretty sure that I'll do anything for you if you ever ask me to. So it's those type of people that you want in your life and in your corner, and that's what helps not only make yourself grow, but the people around you grow as well. So.
well, I appreciate you saying that. You got to tell me though, because I how are you playing the best football of your career at 31, 32 years old as a running back? Like you're the opposite of
Yeah.
everything they say about any other running back. Like David Johnson just retired recently, right? Like all these other guys. How is that happening? How are you doing that?
Yeah, and I get asked this question a lot, but one thing that I tell everybody is that early on in my career I didn't get the carries that some of those other backs that have already retired or that place that stigma of being a 30-year-old and up that he has a lot of wear and tear. I didn't have that wear and tear early on, so I was mostly a special teams guy going out there. You play special teams, as you go out there and play special teams. You probably play about a good 15, 20 snaps a game, and then that's you're moving on to the next. So that was my career early on. That's what I was partaking in, and I really enjoyed it. But now I'm in this role where I have to do a little bit extra work, take care of my body. I got a cold plunge, right outside my bedroom door. I can jump in and anytime I want. So, utilizing all the things that I need, especially right now at my age and where I'm at in my career going on year 10. Just trying to maximize as much as I possibly can so that way I can stay healthy on the field.
So, have you gotten a lot better than you were your first few years, or do people just not give you a chance your first few years? Like I look at your transaction, and it's like cut and practice squad, and then this team claimed you, and this team claimed you. Like, dude, you're one of the best running backs in the NFL. And I was actually on sideline for that NFC Championship game against the Packers, where you absolutely rolled over. So you've been one of the best for a while now. Earlier in your career, was it just not getting opportunities, or have you gotten better now? What happened?
I mean, it's a little bit of both, right? Early on, I wasn't getting that much opportunities at the running back position, and thankfully that helped me longevity wise because now I'm in year 10 as an undrafted guy. It's pretty remarkable, and as a running back, right? Running backs get this stigma of hey, when you first into the league as an undrafted, you're not going to be playing that long. I think the max at the time for me was about 3 years, 2.5, 3 years. And I just stayed consistent on the special teams, and I wasn't getting the looks that I desired when I was coming out. But honestly, I'm happy and blessed that it worked out the way it did because now I can honestly say, might be one other running back, Melvin Gordon, in my draft class that's still playing. So I just try to go out there and try to do what I can and bring a lot of juice and a lot of enthusiasm in the game and have fun and be creative and do anything and everything that I possibly can to be one of the best players out there.
So funny, man. My college teammate, Dennis Norman, I don't think he ever played in the game like his first 5 years in the league, maybe, definitely first four. Whereas I started like 25 games and played in a bunch. Well, then
Mhm.
I had a back surgery. I got hurt and I just hung around for a couple more years. He played 9 years
Yeah.
and he was able to start later in his career because he was like inactive, like his first 3 years in the league. There's something to that. There's also something to your combination of power and speed. I've talked to you about this a million times, but my
Yeah.
college roommate and running back was Kyle Brandt, Mr. Angry Scepter on NFL Network. And
Yeah.
yet, I do all the stats. I read them when I'm doing one of your games, and you have the fastest GPS of any running back, you and A-Chain. So it's like, I can't think of many guys that have your combination of speed and power. So I guess I have two questions there. One is when I say that to you, speed and power, who comes to mind for you?
Um, Speed and power in regards to another running back.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Like I think like Bo Jackson, you know what I mean? Like guys
Yeah,
like that. And it's what's crazy. If I say Bo Jackson with you, some people will be like, dude, Bo Jack. I'm like, I'll be like, dude, Raheem Mostert. Like,
yeah,
I
yeah.
really feel that way.
Yeah. No, honestly, I would say like Priest Holmes. Priest Holmes was like, another running back that I felt like I definitely fit the mold. Both him and I have similarities, and that's a good, comparison with speed and power, because he was fast as well. Not as fast as me, but he still had a little bit of speed and juice. Another guy would be Jamal Charles. There's two Chiefs running backs that I felt like, Jamal Charles also had a little bit of power to him too. So
Would you rather? I feel like most fast guys don't want to try to run through people or run people over, right? Because they're fast. I don't blame them, right? Would you rather like just dust a guy and make him look bad, like just smoke him, or would you rather run through his face?
see, this is where the power in me comes out, right? I like the physicality. I mean, if you play this game and you play this sport, for as long as I have, and you want to just go out there and just demolish somebody, I think running faster, that's always going to be the case for anybody that lines up against me, right? I'm going to blow past you, but I feel like it's more demoralizing when you run through somebody's face mask. That's something I feel like I try to bring every time I, carry the ball. If I can't run past somebody, there's only one other option. You got to run through them. So
So I didn't realize till I was I mean, I knew you were fast, obviously, but I didn't realize till I was prepping for this interview. Dude, you ran a 10-1 at Purdue.
yep,
A
yeah,
10-1? Did you think
yeah.
about like trying to be in the Olympics?
It came to my mind. Actually, I was at a bit of a crossroad coming out in 2015. If I didn't get drafted, I did get offered to run for Team USA in trials and stuff like that. And I had to make that decision if I wanted to continue to play football as an undrafted guy or just chase the track dream, because I ran track in college. I won Big Ten championships, going to NCAA's, but I wasn't known as a track athlete. I was just known as a football player that just can go out there and run. And so it brought me to a point where, Team USA reached out and they wanted me to come out and try for trials and go from there. And I made a decision and I felt like it was the best one.
So, man, you got a lot of fast guys on your team, obviously, right? Like HN as well as Tyreek, of course, and Waddle. I'm sure you get asked this one all the time, but I got to ask it. Like, have you guys ever raced? Who do you think's the fastest? Like, really the fastest out of you guys?
Really the fastest. I mean, we all have different speeds, I guess you could say. Like if we were to run, you know, anything past a 40 or yeah, 40-yard dash, or um I would win that race, because I got longer speed than most of those guys. But I feel like I'm still capable of beating them, 40 or below. So I don't know. It's a good toss up. Every guy has their own, way of expressing how they feel about their speed. And I just feel like mine's a little bit different. Once I get started, it's hard for me to stop. It's hard for me to get caught from behind or anything like that. I felt like last year Tyreek had got caught from behind, and we were joking around with him. We were like, hey, look, bro, you're starting to lose a step, And so we all have our little moments and stuff like that. But I feel like I could take those guys.
Um, his thing is like from standing up, like those first 5-10 yards.
Yeah.
That's what's really crazy about him. I feel like is like his initial like
Yeah.
going a different direction super fast right away is what jumps out for him. But you, man, when you really get it going, it's like whoosh.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
awesome. It must be so fun for your O lineman when they make a hole, because it's just this like I play with some pretty fast dudes, but not like you. Like it's got to be an absolute blur flying by. I saw Raheem, where I think it just came out yesterday that Tua lost 10 to 15 pounds, and he's down to 220. I didn't know Tua was 235. I mean, I knew he was like a thicker guy, but Tua was 235. He's like use check, like 6'1",
Yeah.
235. How does he look? Like, did you notice the weight? Did you know he was 235? I was like
Honestly,
stunned
yeah.
by that.
Yeah, no, I'm actually stunned that you even said that number because it didn't even look like it at first. And then you start putting the pieces together like last year. I'm like, wait a minute, he was a little bit heavier last year, but nah, man, he's honestly looking good right now. I think that he's looking in the best form, best shape of his life. He's taking care of himself, taking care of his body. And he's trying to do some remarkable things this year. Now, in regards to contract negotiations, I don't know. He's always been a team guy, but I felt like with him, he's always a guy that wants to be known as a leader and one with the team and for the team. And so, I'm just hoping that everything works out with him and his negotiation styles and whatever he has going on. And obviously, as a player, you want other players around you to get paid and stuff like that too. So and he deserves it, man. He's worked his tail off, and he's been on the grind every day, and every time he's been asked to do something, he does it without question. He's team first type of guy. So
Man, I want him to get paid so bad.
yeah,
Like you go back to the Alabama injury and then the concussions. Like
yeah,
I just want him to get that life security. I mean, he already makes a lot of money, but like life altering security. I kind of feel like he's earned and he's overcome a lot to
he
get to
had.
this point. And I'm not, I know the organization has their own risk and concerns they need to think about, but I'll be real happy when I was thrilled last year. It's funny because at the broadcast boot camp a couple years ago, I was talking like Marlon Humphrey, and we were
Mhm.
saying the same thing. We just wanted Lamar to get paid so bad so
Yeah,
that he didn't like get hurt and never get the money that he kind of earned. That's how I feel about Tua.
yeah, absolutely, 100%.
What what is it about Mike McDaniel that makes him so good or you so good in his offense? Because you look at like your numbers, and when you're with him, he's like this little dude. How is he like how is he the run game
Yeah.
guru of all people?
Nah, he honestly, man, he studies the game. That's one thing that he does. He doesn't go home all too much. The only time he goes home, is like Friday night, the couple days before the game. And that's truly his family time. And he's spending time with family. But other than that, man's in the office at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning and grinding it out until about 1 at night, each and every day from Monday till Thursday. And you just see the relentlessness that he has, right? He's going out there and he's trying to put his best foot forward as a head coach and also as a coordinator, because that comes with a lot, right? That comes with a lot of of discipline and abilities that you have to portray out there with your players, and a lot of trust too. And for me, I've been blessed enough to have him in my corner, both in San Francisco when he was a run game coordinator, then became the offensive coordinator for that last year he was there, and then now he's the head coach. So I've seen the progression. Me and him have similar stories in regards to our pathways, but that's how we're able to relate to each other, and that's why we click with one another. We can go out there and we could just do what we have to do.
What was it like for you? You're 32 now.
Mhm.
You guys have a good team. Was it hard seeing like Wilkins and Hunt and some of those guys go other places, thinking, "Hey, we had a good year like we want to build on last year." Was it tough to see those guys leave?
Yeah, because those guys are like the staple to what we started when I got here, right? And they were the staple before I got here as well. And unfortunately and unfortunately, we had to let those guys walk, and it sucks because you don't want to see something that you've built just be able to just walk away like that. But then they walked away to millions of dollars. You can't
I'm
necessarily.
so happy for those guys.
I know. Hunt signed a 4 year or 5 year deal with Carolina, and he's the highest. I think right now he's the highest paid guard. And then Christian, he walked away with a 4-year, 110, I believe. So, I'm happy for those guys. And I remember specifically last year, I was talking with Christian. Man, me and Christian, we go to workouts. That's another guy that doesn't say anything, and he's always gonna handle business on the field, and whatever happens. But I was talking with him, and I was like, throughout the season, me and him would work out together early in the morning, talking about like 5:36, and I would tell him like, hey, look, man, I don't know what you're going through in regards to this contract stuff, bro, but just keep your head down and keep working. Like, that's the best thing I could tell you, because eventually, cream rises to the top, and for you are that. You definitely are somebody that people look up to, and for me, I'm an older guy, and I look up to you because you bring a lot of tenacity and juice, and I'm just happy that he got paid.
Yeah, absolutely. Dude, you're the cream of the crop of running backs last year. I hope you run it back this year. That was absolutely awesome last year. I love watching you play. So fun. I've told you that a million. I tell you at the Super Bowl every time I tell you, I see before a game. I'm like, dude, I love watching you play. You're
Yeah,
you're like a O lineman's dream because you're fast, but you're also not afraid to get after it. And I think it's that special teamer in you from
yeah,
back in the day. Like, like you got to be a dog on special teams. Like, you
yeah.
will not survive that unless you're willing to get after people. Check him out on social media. It's at @Armos_8ball on Twitter. He's going to do big things in the media if he wants to, when he's done. But gosh, based on last year, looks like he's got a lot of football left in him. Raheem, thanks so much for coming on the show, man. Really appreciate it.
I really appreciate you too, Ross, man. You awesome, man. And anytime you want me on, brother, I'm always here for you. Just one phone call away.
All right, sounds great. Thank you.
Thank you, brother. Have a good one.
Man, I love that dude. He is awesome. So fired up for the career that he's having. Hope he can keep it rolling. Last year was so fun for him. You know what's fun for me? Drinking Labatt Blue Lights with my friends, family, living life to the power of we. You better believe I'll be doing that this weekend. Memorial Day weekend. Are you kidding me? That's when Labatt Blue Light comes out and shines. Always enjoy responsibly. Beer, Labatt USA, Buffalo, New York.
Tuck's Takes.
All right, Ross. According to Jonathan Jones of CBS Sports, the NFL is moving forward this preseason with an optical tracking system for the line to gain rulings. It's going to be a full preseason trial this summer, and if it goes well, it'll be implemented full-time for the 2024 regular season.
Right. Essentially, they're looking to get rid of the chain gang, although they'll have the chain gang this year as backups. I'm going to make this actually, Jack, my Labatt take of the week. We only do one Labatt take of the week. This is going to be it. It's presented by Labatt Blue Light, the pristine Canadian Pilsner. Enjoy your beers together so you can live life to the power of we. Always enjoy responsibly. Beer, Labatt USA, Buffalo, New York. Everybody is so excited that the NFL is getting rid of the chain gang. Yes, finally. They're not the problem. The chain gang's never been the problem. I mean, has there been a couple malfunctions? Okay. Does it seem like old school to have those guys run on the field? Yes. Will this expedite that? Hopefully. But guys, the issue is the inconsistency with the spotting of the football. You ever watch the two officials come in and they're like off by like a half a yard, but as they run in, they kind of like look at the other one, they're like that as they run in? It's the spotting that's the issue. And I'm not sure technology is ever going to be able to solve that issue, because it's not just where the ball is. They can put a chip in the ball. They have a chip in the ball. It's being able to also tell when the player was down, where the ball is, when the player is believed to have been down with their knee or elbow or whatever. So I understand why people are excited. Yeah, with technology, blah, blah, blah. It's not really fixing what the real issue is in terms of competitiveness in the NFL.
Raiders Hall of Famer Jim Otto has passed away.
Well, he's one of those guys. I think when I think of Jim Otto, he's like a top 10 player in terms of when I think about a team, I think about Jim Otto. Like, you think about Jim Otto with the single bar, with the 00, with the neck roll. He is like, that is one of the iconic NFL images, is Jim Otto with the Raiders. The only other news, Jack, is that Devontae Parker is retiring. 9 years in the NFL, had a big year, I think, for the Dolphins, maybe 2019. Signed with the Eagles this offseason, but after a couple of OTAs, I guess he's decided it is not for him. That'll do it for us. I think we're done here.
Thanks for tuning in to the Ross Tucker Football Podcast. Make sure to also check out Even Money, Fantasy Feast, and College Draft, all on the DraftKings Network on Samsung TV Plus, YouTube, or subscribe to the podcast on your favorite platform.
Shout out myfrontpagestory.com. Guys, I'm telling you, it is the best Father's Day gift ever. So especially, I guess, for the ladies out there, or those of you that still have a dad in your life, get them an incredible story. Your dad loves the newspaper. Put them on the cover story, myfrontpagestory.com. Anybody, by the way, that orders a My Front Page story always gets a signed autograph for me if you want one. I got some awesome press passes left. BackOfficeScheduler.com, SteakhouseSports.com, HumanHeadNYC.com, Sporticulture, Pizza Boy Brewing.